Hi, 7th grade, this is Mrs. C. Today we're going to be using a strategy called the Notice and Wonder. This strategy will help us look at images, videos, and other visual resources and answer the question, what can I learn from this? Using the Notice and Wonder strategy, you'll be able to build an understanding of the topic by analyzing images. These notes that you take about the images will then help you have discussions with your peers about the topic and create greater connections. So what is Notice and Wonder? This is a way of looking at a visual resource such as a video, picture, or artwork. When we notice something, we're looking at something objectively. In other words, looking at all the details that we see, kind of like the visual facts. And when we're wondering, this connects to questions that we create in our minds when we're looking at something. When we're noticing and wondering, we want to do three things. We want to look at all the details in that resource. We want to think about our questions. And then we want to share our ideas with our peers. We're going to be using an image from days 5 and 6 in Unit 3, Founding Perspectives on Slavery, in order to model this Notice and Wonder strategy. When we notice and wonder, we want to create a T-chart, a line down the middle with another line going across. This will make two columns. On the left-hand column, we want to title it Noticing, and this is where we're going to write everything that we see. On the right-hand side, we want to title it Wondering, and this is where we're going to write down all the questions we have about the image. So if we're putting it in other words, when we're looking at the details, we want to look at the color, the shapes, the lines, the value, if there's text written on the resource, the amount of an object on the resource, for example. When we think about the questions, we want to create questions that start with who, what, how, why, where, and when. And then, once our teacher gives us the green light, we want to go ahead and briefly discuss our ideas with our peers, whether it's share out loud to the whole class or just share briefly with a partner. Sharing our ideas is what helps us build connections together in the classroom. Also, when we share our ideas, it provides everybody else with a new perspective. So when we're looking at the image, we don't want to share our ideas right away because we want to take the time to observe and think independently. We want to see what we are able to come up with first and write down as many details as we can by looking at that visual resource. Then use the 5 W's and an H to create your questions. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. So for example, when we're looking at this image, I want to just take a moment and look at the entire image. My eye is immediately drawn to the middle, right here, because of the bright color that she's wearing. And then I'm able to look at what is surrounding the woman and then the outside. So some facts that I was able to notice about this image was that I see the color red a lot. If I look to the left, I see the color red, and to the right, I see the color red as well. I see books. I see African American people. And I see the woman in the white dress has a chain at her feet. Now this image has many, many more details that I know I have not been able to write down, but I'm sure that you'll be able to look at those details and catch as many, even more than I just did. One wondering that I had when looking at this image was, did the artist use the color red so much for a reason? Often artists tend to use specific shapes or colors or like repeating objects in a picture or an artwork or a video in order to symbolize something. So that's something that popped into my head right away. Once you have completed a Notice and Wonder chart, your teacher may ask you to share out loud or to share with a partner. If you share with a partner, you might want to take that opportunity to write down those wonderings that they have as well. And I'm sure they will not be the same as yours, because there are infinite amount of questions that we're able to make or create when looking at something. We also want to see and compare if their noticings are the same as ours. Maybe we missed something that our partner was able to catch in the image. Or maybe they've made a connection to something that we spoke about in class that we actually didn't make when we were noticing. If your teacher decides to have you share out loud, the best part of a Notice and Wonder chart is that your notes are already here. So you don't have to think about what you're going to share out or how you're going to say it. I know we sometimes get nervous when we're going to share out loud, but we have our notes right in front of us, and this will allow us to share our ideas. Now, we all know that a picture is worth 1,000 words, maybe even 1,000,000 words. And the Notice and Wonder strategy is something that will help us find those words and put them all together in order to make those deep connections that we need to make